So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Villa fans, and welcome to Late Night Love with Neil and Paddy, or as we like to call it, a very late match preview for AS Monaco versus Aston Villa in the Champions League tomorrow, because we do love a good Champions League fixture, Paddy, specifically when Villa are playing in it. And I must say, I'm living in absolute FOMO, in absolute, what's that word, envy. You know, you should never be envious of anyone, but Jesus Christ, am I envious of a lot of people that are out in Monte Carlo and Nice, and I saw some crack go down in Man Olins in Nice today, Paddy, and yeah, I'd love to do an away trip in the Champions League, but people are having mad crack out there today.
Yeah, they're having a ball. It is really hard to look at, but delighted for everybody who is lucky enough to get tickets and lucky enough to be able to afford to get out there. It's a one in a lifetime venue to go to. Lovely stadium, really quaint stadium, lovely features in it. I'd love to be there tomorrow, but unfortunately real life is getting in the way. And there's no chance of getting tickets. So anyway,
well, you say that, Paddy, but there must be 45,000 Villa fans over there.
There's a lot of people going with no tickets, and I totally get that as well. And I'm absolutely fine with that. It's an expensive trip to make. Anyone that's staying in Monaco is paying 400 or 500 quid a night. I know most people are in Nice. I saw some lovely pictures of our friends Mark and Emma with Ian Taylor earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Who I believe is in fine. I believe he's in fine fettle himself and Nathan Daw.
Yeah. When aren't they? In fairness, yeah. But Villa put on a good show. I suppose it's easy to get former players over to Monaco. I would imagine, Paddy. I'd imagine it's easy to get them over there. Gareth Barry is there as well, and obviously Gabby and Lee Hendry. Yeah, the main crew, I suppose, plus Gareth Barry. Which it'd be cool. I'd like to sit down and bend his ear for a while and chat to him. Because I don't have much animosity towards Gareth Barry, at all. But yeah, it looks like some crack over. Yeah, was supposed to be an absolute lovely fella. And to be honest with you, he trudged through some really dank times with the club. But anyway, we won't go down and relive that time.
He owes us a lot too. He owes us a lot of.
Absolutely,
we developed him as a player and as a man, and I'm sure he has fond memories of being at Villa. Ball wants to know, am I in a travel lodge? No,
close enough, I'd say.
I am in a hotel, but not a travel lodge.
Yeah, not a travel.
A little bit more upmarket than
that. Yeah, and speaking of upmarket, Monaco are a team that I suppose. Look, Monaco are a funny kind of a team. Obviously, they've got your tax breaks when you sign for Monaco. You don't pay any tax, and it's obviously it's a haven for wealth and for prestige and everything like that. And the Monegasque people, and yes, I just wanted to get Monegasque into somewhere into the podcast early enough, but the Monegasque people are like, it's mad. I'll take it down through memory lane. In 2007/2008, there was a recession in Ireland, and I got laid off from my job, and I was given redundancy, and I was going through all these mad things, and I was looking up about trying to get residency in Monaco. And my job, in my mind, I was going to say, right, if I could save up enough, and you can buy residency in Monaco, there's all these criteria around it. Go look it up. And that was my thing. Was I was going to make my fortune being a croupier on one of the tables at one of the casinos in Monte Carlo. That was it. That's the way my mind was going back in 2007. I was there. I'm going to gamble this all if I can. I'm not gamble it in the sense of me being a gambler, but me being on the opposite side of the table. But I looked up. Go look at the laws that it takes to become a Monegasque citizen. It's absolutely bonkers how you can do that, and you can't really stay there for long if you aren't a citizen Well, you can, but I didn't have the wealth to do that. I didn't have anywhere near the wealth to do that,
Do
obviously.
you know what else you can't
But
do
anyway,
in Monaco? You can't park your the Americans would call it an RV. What would we call it? A camper van. Not allowed to have a camper van in. Well, you can drive through it, but you can't actually park a camper van. One of the Munster Lions was telling me that recently. One of the Cork Lions when he was up in Limerick a few weeks ago. So there's some strange ways in Monaco. But quick fire question for you, Neil: which one of our current players played for Monaco?
Which one of our current players played for Monaco? Luca Dean?
Who?
Luca Dean?
No.
I don't, Paddy. I was running a temperature of nearly 39 degrees up until about 15 minutes ago. I don't have the brain power to think about this at all.
Your answers are in the comments there.
My answers are in the comments. Yeah. I'm even to Tielemans. Yes, Tielemans did. He did. Standard Liège. Or sorry, Anderlecht or Standard Liège.
Anderlecht before it,
yeah. I get himself Stephen Defour. There's Championship Manager days. Your Tielemans is Stephen Defour. You just go and you buy them straight away. That's what you do, and then you build your team around them. One from Standard and one from Anderlecht. Anyway, this is very rambly. But we're going to play them tomorrow, Paddy. We're going to play them tomorrow. And do you envisage a lot of change to the team? Because I know while we don't have the best away form in Europe over the last 2 years. We don't have brilliant away form. A win more or less qualifies us in the top 16, top 8. I just don't like this Monaco team are going to be tough to beat. That's what I'm getting at here. They're going to be tough to beat. Yes, they're not going through a great run of form at the moment, but they're a really well constructed young team who, this is what happens. This is what I was getting at with Monaco a moment ago when I was talking about, it was a haven for, for the rich and the wealthy and stuff like that. But they have lots of pedigree of buying in younger players, developing them and selling them on. They've done that brilliantly well over the course of the last maybe 25, 30 years. Even going back, actually, I suppose, to Thierry Henry days. They've been really good at getting players in there and sending them on. And they've got a good group of young players here again. Seguir and Atlouche. They're the two attackers. Vanderson right back. So they're not going to be. They're going to be a formidable outfit. And their manager is just after getting a new contract as well, Adi Hutter, if I'm not mistaken. And he's very well thought of too. So Villa are going to need to go there, and they're going to I think it's going to be same team, same subs, more or less, as it was the weekend. Yeah. Well, it won't be the same subs because you can't have Malin, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see a change because I don't envisage Onana plays.
No.
So big decision to make, and does he give Lamar Bogard the run again? Because in fairness to him, we all questioned him. We all questioned the decision to bring him in there, and he didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't see too much of the ball, but that's a sign of a good defensive midfielder that he shepherded his man very, very well. He blocked it off. He blocked off that channel very, very well, and as a result, he went unnoticed. And that's exactly what you want with a defensive midfielder. So he has that decision to make. Does he drop Yuri back in there? Possibly. Does he bring Leon Bailey in? Possibly. And you know what? Of all the times I question him the most with that Lamar Bogard decision. Not because I don't have faith in Lamar Bogard being potentially a really good player. I think it's just that I felt that occasion on Saturday was too big for him, and he proved us all wrong. And Unai Emery, as usual, proved us all wrong. And I felt like I had egg in my face. Well, I didn't really. I was delighted. With the result. I was delighted that the risk he took pulled off. It was a risk from our point of view. I don't believe it was a risk for him because he's obviously he has seen him in the flesh day in, day out and knows what he can do. He was playing in his natural position. So I think that's the only decision he has to make. And for me, I'd be completely okay with him doing it at the weekend or doing it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think Leon Bailey starts. Goes back to Kamara and Tielemans back there. I think Morgan Rogers through the centre, Ramsey, Bailey, Watkins. I think he'll start that way. I think the reason Bogard was brought on was to keep the structure. I think structure above style against Arsenal, and that was very much what I saw on the field anyway. So when he came on, we didn't need to change up too much. It was just like for like substitution in there, and somebody who could block up those lanes, stop the Odegaards coming through, stop to a lesser degree, get out on Trossard, even though Trossard always has a brilliant game against us. He was brought in there to do that. You bring on Leon Bailey at that stage and you push back Tielemans, the defensive structure starts to
and that's a very valid point, because we've seen substitutions hurt our progression, let's say, in recent weeks. So it certainly didn't do that. It was like for like, and obviously the guy is a much better central midfielder, which is a natural position, than he is a right back. So I agree with you that it'll probably be Youri Tielemans, and the reason I agree with you it'll be Youri Tielemans is they need to win. A win secures top 24 for them, and at least into the next round. If they fail to win, they may have to go to Inter Milan and try and get something on the last day, which would be very, very difficult. So I would imagine they see us as well. I don't know. Do we see us higher? See us higher than Inter Milan? I don't know. But a home game against Aston Villa is much more winnable than an away game.
They should be looking at us going, we prefer to win. We'll single out this one to win than we would against Inter Milan. Prestige has an awful lot to do with it. And I know we've got arguably, I would still say this, we've arguably top 5 manager in all of world football over our team. No one has been yet to be able to give me a reason as to why he wouldn't be. And we're going to a place that's, look, I suppose one of the things about the Monaco fan base is there's, like we mentioned there was a ton of fans gone over. There's probably going to be ability to get neutral tickets in the stadium. There's probably going to be ability to probably get home tickets in the stadium. It's a glamour city, and this may not be seen as a glamour tie, for fans. So that's why I would imagine a lot of Villa fans travelled without their tickets. But they'll definitely be looking at this. Also, they should definitely be looking at us as someone to pick off. Massive amount of injuries in midfield. Only 2 fit centre halves. That's another reason why I don't think Bogard will be started, because we've only got 2 fit centre halves. And I think Sils Finkels comes into the bench and gives us that flexibility with Bogard. But they should be looking at us from that point of view. Like, they're missing a couple of players as well. They're missing a couple of so Florian Balogun, former Arsenal player, they're missing him. They're missing Diatta, George Ilan Ikena, who I did a piece on, the guy that they signed from Royal Antwerp, 17, 18-year-old. He's out as well. Wilfred Singo, the centre half, is out as well. And Dennis Zakaria is out too, former Chelsea man who seemed to be linked with us a lot of times as well, and former Juventus man. Lots of experience there from his side of things, will be out also. But then again, they'll look at our side of it and they'll say, yeah, they're missing Pau Torres, Diego Carlos won't be there, John McGinn and Ross Barkley won't be there. They won't be able to have their marquee signing and Daniel Mayle in there, and Amadou Onana is likely going to be out as well. So they're going to be looking at that and going, there's huge players out for Aston Villa too. So they will definitely be looking to take our scalp. This is not going to be an easy game at all. The striker that they have, Breland Bolo, I've always loved him. I've always thought he was a really, really good player. Go back on my Twitter maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and you'll see that I was talking him up as being somebody Villa should go and look for. He's very similar to Ollie Watkins in his movement and the way he moves defenders around the place, centre halves specifically. And when you watch him, he's going to try and get on Mings' shoulder and try and move Mings around the place. And that's not a bad thing, because we know Mings is athletic as well, but staying in structure is very important. That's why I think Kamara is going to be our absolute, massively most important player tomorrow. Kamara is going to need to do 3 jobs tomorrow. He's going to need to scan. He's going to need to drop back into the centre if Mings goes, and he's going to need to take up his place on that right-hand side when we're in possession as well. So he's going to be a busy boy, and he's going to need to be concentrating like there's no tomorrow. So he's somebody that I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. And I hope he has his breakout game in France with the French media watching, gets himself back into the French setup, because we know he's bloody brilliant. He just has he's the way through a ton of talent to get into that French team. And with Deschamps standing down after the World Cup. We know Deschamps likes him. He wants to get his name in the hat to go to the World Cup. What better place to do it than go in, give a match winning and a man of the match performance in France, in front of your own, in front of the French media, and in one of the most prestigious stadiums in French football. So go for it, Boubacar. Make yourself known in your home country.
I hope he has a really quiet game and has very little to do, and we win easy, and nobody notices he's there because he's 18 months left on his contract. Let's get that sorted out because he is one of the vital cogs in our wheel, and that needs to be sorted as a matter of urgency. And I'm even whispering it here now because I don't want anybody else to hear it. Look, I on a personal level, I hope he does really well and gets into the French team. But we need to get that contract signed. We need that done ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people talking about this, looking forward to the Celtic game. We're going to that Celtic game, and I myself would love nothing more than the Celtic game to be a dead rubber so I could go in and enjoy the game from start to finish if Villa were to win and other results were to go our way tomorrow. So I don't want to leave anything to chance. I know we're in the 24. I want us to get in the top 8. I want us to get a buy into the next round, and I want us to, try and get as high up that table as we possibly can to try and get a better seeding because, as long as you stay in the pot, it's been mad. We even think about Monaco got to the Champions League final before. I think Morientes and Ludovic Guili, those guys, were they beaten by Mourinho's Porto, I think, maybe in the final? I think they were.
Really?
But I think they might have been. I've got a vague recollection of it. Maybe that might have been a semi-final, or maybe they might have beaten Porto in a semi-final. I don't know. But yeah, so like, the longer what I'm getting at here is the longer you stay in the hat, the more opportunities you have, and the higher up you are in the seedings, I think is going to favour Aston Villa as well. Regards to more favourable draws. So just go out and win the last 2 games. It's that simple, lads. And also another thing as well, Paddy. Another thing as well is, win tomorrow, it's 2.5 million into your bank account. Win against Celtic, 2.5 million into your bank account. That's 5 million. That pays for your right back, the Spanish right back. Don't have to be worrying about him from a PSR point of view. There you go.
Yeah. Rich asked there, is there any chance we can get top 8 with a win tomorrow? Look, with all those teams playing each other, just win tomorrow, and we could have it all sewn up by close of play on Wednesday when all the games are played. But we just have to look after our own game and put our own oxygen mask on and forget about everyone else. And I think that just will see us over the line. I believe that it will probably be enough looking at the fixtures and the people that have to play each other and people that are going to take points off each other. So if we just put our head down, get the 3 points and worry about Celtic next week or whatever we decide to do. Another big talking point is John Duran is 1 booking away from a suspension. Are we probably better off if he picks that up tomorrow? Yeah, probably. But I don't see any
after the Celtic game anyway.
Well, that's it. But if it means he sits out the Celtic game and gets a rest for himself, if we've already done the job, I'd be happy with that.
I kind of want to see him though, Paddy. I kind of want to see him. So stop.
We'll have to get you over again.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. If someone can pay for my wedding, I'll be over every week between now and the end of the season. Peter asks a good question. Have you preferred this new format to the old way? I'm going to say yes, because I'll tell you why. Club Brugge would have no way in the world of being within an ass's roar of getting qualification with the old format. You look at it, there's been a lot of big results. There's been a lot of weird results in this one. Man City have had weird results. Real Madrid have had weird results. The converse on it is that I think it's great for clubs like ourselves and new clubs into the competition, clubs that are less prestigious. You get to have those big games, more of them. You get to go, you get to test yourselves, and you get to have those great nights like Bayern Munich, brilliant night. Juventus should have been a brilliant night. It still was a brilliant night for a lot of people, but it should have been a better night. All those great wins. The negative side of it is more prestigious teams can piss their way through the competition at the start, but they were doing that anyway in the group stages beforehand. So I prefer this one. I think for a team like ourselves to be in this situation as opposed to being a group of 4, I kind of prefer the jeopardy of this one, where you don't know who you're drawing, and then when you draw it, it's like brilliant, excellent. That's at the start of this, I would have expected Leipzig to be up in the top 8. No problem. Where are Leipzig? Rooted to the bottom, and we've beaten Leipzig. We would not have had the opportunity to play against Leipzig, Juventus, Bayern Munich, Monaco, Chelsea, Celtic. We would have played one top-tier team, one top-tier team, one middling team, and one team that's probably like a Young Boys or whatever, and ourselves. And I think that would have been a bit boring and wooden. Whereas I think the teams we've got to play have really tested us. I think they've brought the best out of us, and I think it's been incredibly enjoyable for us. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going with the new format.
Well, there's lots of reasons to go with the new format. I like the fact that you get to play all the different teams and not the same team home and away. We did get a little bit lucky when you consider that 3 of the bottom 4 teams are 3 teams we beat in Bologna, Leipzig and Young Boys. So we did get a little bit lucky in that. There is a lot going on in around the bottom of that 24 with PSG sitting outside it, with Girona, who had done pretty well last season, look like they're not going to get through. Man City are just barely hanging on in there. Real Madrid likewise. So it does give an extra impetus. You mentioned, who was the team you mentioned? I can't remember. Oh, Club Brugge.
Club Brugge. Yeah, they're only 3 points behind us.
Even though, there should be 6 points if we or 5 points if we literally hand them 2 extra points.
Exactly.
But clubs like Lille, Brest, ourselves, Leverkusen, all in and around the top 8. Good for the game, good for the neutral. A lot of the English teams getting behind us, with the exception of Arsenal maybe after the weekend. And we got to be happy with the way most of our teams are performing, because we've got obviously 3 of our Champions League qualifiers in the top 8, which will help the 5th place. What do we call it? Keep forgetting the name of it there.
Coefficient FC.
Coefficient FC, yeah, that's the one. So our coefficient is quite good because of this competition. We got extra games to make money. There's a whole lot of ways to look at it, but the most important thing for us as fans is to get this amazing experience. And I'll tell you, I will probably on the day I die, one of my last thoughts will be that day against Bayern Munich, and I'm hoping I'll have the same experience next Wednesday against Celtic. But it's huge. It's absolutely huge for us as a club. We're now on the lips of football fans throughout the world and football players throughout the world. So if we can keep this going another couple of weeks, push ourselves into that top 8, and it's always good to attract new talent and new players. And I'm here with a colleague of mine from Essex who supports West Ham, and I asked him the question, why would John Duran sign for West Ham when we're still in with a good chance in this Champions League and we're well ahead of them? And he went, yeah, I agree with you. And nobody that's a football fan would say any otherwise. So, in fairness to him, he took it all pretty well. But, here we are talking about being up this end of the Champions League. It's absolutely incredible for us as a fan base. There's people out in Monaco tonight that never even dreamed in their wildest dreams they'd get to see Villa play in the Champions League. So we should enjoy it, embrace it, and hope for the best for 3 points.
And as Adam says here, Adam on MP4 says the last day will be exciting, twist and yeah, like the jeopardy for last day for teams that will leave it to last day to try and get in, it'll come down to goal difference, it'll come down to everything, so it will be like you'll have 4 or 5 screens open, and hopefully we're qualified by then. You have 4 or 5 screens open and you're watching anguish and delight on other teams. That doesn't happen in the 4-team group stage, right? Very much. Like, it might happen in one group. Now there's going to be 6 or 7 teams that are going to be going, we have to win, or if we win this and other results go our way. So I think that jeopardy is good. I think in relation to me trying to become a Monegasque citizen, David O'Dwyer says you have to marry into the royal family over there. But us Irish have a habit of doing that, marrying into the throne in Monaco, don't we? Wasn't Grace O'Malley? There was a Grace O'Malley. What was her name? Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly. Grace O'Malley was the pirate queen. There was one of them anyway.
Grace Kelly was American, wasn't she?
Hi, there's Kelly in her name, Paddy. For Jesus' sake, she's probably your first cousin, like. You know, so she's definitely Irish American in some way, shape, or form with the surname Kelly. Definitely. But we have form for that anyway. We have form for it. Right. Before my delirious mind goes any further down any silly rambly rabbit holes, I'm going to call it a day on this one, guys. We will be back tomorrow with a Team Sheet Tantrum and a post-match podcast as well afterwards. It's a really early one. So, like, think the Team Sheet Tantrum would be like 4:30 tomorrow. So join us for that. It'll be a shorter one because I do have to do school runs and pick kids up from creche. So it might only be like a 10-15 minute Team Sheet Tantrum, but we will be there to do it. And we'll obviously have the post-match then afterwards as well. So come and join us for that. And hopefully we'll be talking about an Aston Villa win versus Monaco out in the beautiful Monte Carlo and in the Stade Louis II out in Monaco as well. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Now all that's left to say is up the Villa.
The Villa.